Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm a veteran of impeachments. I've been named by the House as an impeachment manager in 4 impeachments, Clinton and 3 judges. That's more than anybody else in history. And one of the things in every impeachment, whether it's the ones that I was involved in or others that have come before the committee where I was not a manager, is a debate on what is a high crime and misdemeanor and how serious does that have to be in order for it to rise to a level of an impeachable offense. About 50 years ago, then Republican leader Gerald Ford made a comment that saying a high crime and misdemeanor is anything a majority of the House of Representatives deems it to be on any given day. I don't agree with that. You know, that sets either a very low bar or a non-existent bar, and it certainly would make the President serve at the pleasure of the House, which was not what the framers intended when they rejected the British form of parliamentary democracy, where the Prime Minister and the government could be overthrown by a mere vote of no confidence in the House of Commons. So I'm looking at what we're facing here. This whole inquiry was started out by a comment that President Trump made to President Zelensky in the July 25th call of, quote, "do me a favor," unquote. There are some who have said it's a quid pro quo. There are some who have implied that it's a quid pro quo. But both Trump and Zelensky have said it wasn't, and Zelensky has said there was no pressure on me, and the aid came through within 6 weeks after the phone call in question was made. Now, you can contrast that to where there was no impeachment inquiry to Vice President Biden when he was giving a speech and said, you know, I held up $1 billion worth of aid unless the prosecutor was fired within 6 hours. And son of a bleep, that's what happened. Now, you know, it seems to me that if you're looking for a quid pro quo and looking for something that was really over the top, it was not saying, do me a favor. It was saying, son of a bleep, that's what happened in 6 hours. Now, you know, the Republicans who were in charge of Congress at the time Biden made that comment, we did not tie the country up for 3 months and going on 4 now, wrapping everybody in this town around the axelrod. We continued attempting to do the public's business. That's not what's happening here. And I think the American public are getting a little bit sick and tired of impeachment, 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 when they know that less than a year from now, they will be able to determine whether Donald Trump stays in office or somebody else will be elected. And I take this responsibility extremely seriously. You know, it is an awesome and very grave responsibility, and it is not one that should be done lightly. It is not one that should be done quickly, and it is not one without examining all of the evidence, which is what was done in the Nixon impeachment and what was done largely by Kenneth Starr in the Clinton impeachment. Now, I'd like to ask you, Professor Turley, because your mind is the only one of the 4 of you up there that doesn't seem to have it made up before you walked into the door. Isn't there a difference between saying, quote, do me a favor, and, quote, son of a bleep, that's what happened in 6 hours' time?
Grammatically, yes. Constitutionally, it really depends on the context. I think your point is a good one in the sense that we have to determine from the transcript and hopefully from other witnesses whether this statement was part of an actual quid pro quo. I guess the threshold question is if the President said, I'd like you to do these investigations, and by the way, I don't group them together. In my testimony, I distinguish between the request for investigations into 2016 from the investigation of the Bidens. But It is an issue of order, the magnitude of order constitutionally. If you ask, I'd like to see you do this, as opposed to, I have a quid pro quo, you either do this or you don't get military aid.
Thank you.
Time of the gentleman has expired.